Hey everyone, welcome to our April edition of our Becoming Healthy Leaders video. What we emphasize through these videos is developing healthy leaders who ultimately build healthy teams. And what we're going to be emphasizing in the month of April is a word that is very, very relevant to every single one of us, and it is the word suffering. Now, with the word suffering, we have to understand this, that it is inevitable if you are a Christ follower. In fact, the Bible tells us in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 17, it says, "For this light momentary affliction is preparing us for an eternal weight of glory beyond all comprehension." Now, what does that mean? Suffering is a promise of God. He actually says in John 16 as well to his disciples, in this world, you will have trouble. Suffering is not just a possibility, it's actually a promise. It's a thing that happens to us, but we have to understand this, that suffering is not God's punishment. It is not a repercussion that you suddenly receive because of something you've done wrong. No, suffering does something in us, through us, and ultimately for us that nothing else can do. And I want to give you three very simple things that suffering will do for you as you strive to become a healthy leader. Number one, godly suffering purifies. The Bible tells us, "I am refining you, but not as silver, taking you through the fires of affliction." What does that mean? The purest of gold has to go through the hottest of fires. Again, suffering is not God's punishment. It is not a repercussion that you suddenly receive. No, if you find yourself, whether in a moment of suffering or even in a season of suffering, God is desiring to purify you. He wants to bring those things to the surface so that we can be renewed to be more like Him. So the second thing that God does in us through suffering is that He prunes us. I find it so relevant that right now we're in the season transitioning from winter into spring. You'll see people in their landscape. You'll see people in their yards. And what are they doing? They're pruning. It says in John chapter 15 that God prunes those things that bear fruit. Why? Because we have to prune the old so that the new can come. And that's what it feels like, because pruning, let's call it what it is. It's not comfortable, it's not fun, but it is necessary to become the healthy leader God's called us to be. So through godly suffering, He's pruning us. But then the third and final thing is this. Through godly suffering, God desires to produce. He doesn't just want to remove the old, He wants to produce the new. The old things that may have worked back then, the things that were good, the things that were even godly, they still have to be pruned. Why is that? Because through the pruning process, He's going to produce what it says in John 15, not just more fruit, but the best part is this, fruit that lasts. As He prunes the outside, He's going to renew, purify, prune, and ultimately produce health, life, lasting life on the inside. So if you are watching this video right now and you may say, "Pastor, I am in that season or I'm in that moment of suffering," don't be discouraged. Know that God uses godly suffering to not only purify, He's going to prune those areas of our life that need to be removed. Not just the bad things, but even the good things. But ultimately, He's going to produce health. He's going to produce life. He's going to produce strength and growth, and all of those things developing us into who He's called us to be. And again, that's why we emphasize that. Developing healthy leaders who ultimately build healthy teams. Be encouraged today that if you are in a season of suffering, God may be purifying you, He may be pruning you, but ultimately He desires to produce the fruits of the Spirit in life in you. We love you so much. Be encouraged today. You're becoming a healthy leader.